Hey, boys and girls, it's Mr. Mac. Today we're going to work on Module 8, Lesson 3, which now we're representing multiplication with unit fractions. We've moved on from the last lesson, which was whole numbers by fractions. Now we're talking about multiplication with unit fractions. So here we are. This example says a chef uses 1/4 of a package of dough. Before using this part of the package of dough, she cuts it into thirds. What fraction of the whole package is each of these smaller pieces? So I'm going to pull out some dough. Sounds like I'm talking about money. All right, but I'm going to make a little dough there, a little rectangular piece of dough, right? This is my whole, right? If this is my whole and we're using 1/4, okay, so if we're using 1/4, that might be, just this piece here. Okay, let's say that that's 1/4. Okay, then of that 1/4, we're saying we cut this 1/4 piece here into thirds. Okay, so if there's thirds, that means there's 3 pieces there. Okay, what they're asking in the problem is what fraction of the whole package is each of these smaller pieces? Okay, so we need to know what size is that smaller piece. Well, if we're looking at this whole piece being cut into fourths, that means we know there will be 4/4 to make the whole. And we're saying that each of those fourths are being cut into thirds, right? So now I'm going to bring down these fourths, but each of those fourths I'm now going to cut into thirds, excuse me. Okay, so now they want to know, well, what is that one piece? Well, it is 1 out of 12 total pieces. So each of those would be 1/12 of the entire package because we used a fourth and that fourth was cut into thirds. So we had to cut all of those fourths into thirds to find out how many pieces the whole thing would be cut into. Okay, so I strolled down and I got this beautiful picture of this stromboli here. And I want to go over a real life example, but there's also a part where we're going to talk about the number line here. So it says the chef also makes stromboli. One serving is half of the stromboli. What fraction of a meter is the length of one serving? Okay, so we're looking at this stromboli here, right? And we've broken it into half because half of this stromboli is one serving. So we need to figure out what fraction of a meter is the length of one serving. And the number line's a really good use for this one because this is showing 0 and 1, which is one whole. We're talking about only 1/4 of a meter. So first thing we have to do is take our number line and break that into fourths, okay? Because we are dealing with 1/4 of the meter. Oops. This should be 1/2. Then 3/4, and then 1 meter. Now, we're saying that we cut each of the fourths in half for a serving. So if we now cut each of these fourths in half here, okay, we now need to figure out what that fraction represents. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we have eighths. So one serving here would only be represented by this space right here. And we know that that would be 1/8 of our whole stromboli, our whole meter, excuse me. So one serving of the stromboli is 1/8 meter. Okay, so just knowing that we like to start out with our whole first. Okay, so starting out with the whole, well, whatever it is. Okay, and in this problem, we were dealing with 1/4 and then cutting that fourth in half, just like we did on that prior problem. So now if I was doing all the fourths and cutting all of them in half, same idea as the last problem, cutting it in half, cutting it in half. And again, not the most perfect picture, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. So one piece would be 1/8 of the meter here. Okay, so hopefully this example helps. And remember, we always like to start out with the whole piece and then what we're breaking that down by and then what we're breaking that down by. Hopefully this helps you guys. Take care.